Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about truth and fiction, and Jessica Alexander, and Temecula, California, and Rosa Parks. If you don't know, a council person out there, they made a comparison that has been, well, let's just say, widely ridiculed, and justifiably so. She compared her advocacy, her anti-mask advocacy, to Rosa Parks. And we'll talk about that comparison in a minute. But she also got something factually wrong. And it's an important piece of Rosa Parks' story. Her story gets crammed into a narrative constantly. And when people tell her story, it never does her justice. This even more so. Here's the quote. "Look at Rosa Parks. She was accommodated on the back of the bus, but she finally took a stand and moved to the front because she knew that wasn't lawful. It wasn't truth." Okay, first, the whole problem is that it was lawful. The law did that. That was the whole problem. You know, the segregation thing, that was an issue. Aside from that, it wasn't truth. This statement isn't true. And it really takes away from Rosa Parks' story. Rosa Parks was not in the white section of the bus. The first 10 rows of the buses, those were reserved for whites. The last 10 were theoretically reserved for blacks. The middle 16, they were first come, first serve. She was in row 11. She was in the first come, first serve section. It doesn't seem like this would be a big deal, but it is. See, white people liked to frame segregation as separate but equal. She was following the unjust law. She was just complying. And she still had an injustice visited upon her. It wasn't equal. That was the problem. And this highlighted it. This showed it. Made it clear. As if there weren't other examples. See, she was in row 11, and the bus driver told 4 people in row 11 to move. 3 of them did. She didn't. There was 1 white passenger waiting for a seat. They had 3 seats to choose from, but they still wanted her to move. It wasn't really about seating at that point. Better obey, just comply, do what you're told, know your place. I think the actual quote is, better make it easy on yourself. Make it light on yourself. It was about forcing compliance. And it happened not in the white section, but in the first come, first serve section. It changes the dynamic when you move her to the white section of the bus. Because then white folk, well, everything was fine. It was just separate. What was the big deal? It takes away from it. She wasn't in the white section of the bus. Her story always gets cast as, well, she was just tired. She was a seamstress and just tired and just didn't want to get up and move. Yeah, that's not at all reality. She wasn't somebody who just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Rosa Parks fought injustice for years. She traveled to another state to learn how to be more effective. Casting her as somebody who didn't want to get up, that takes away from it. when her story is told, it never does her justice. Moving her to the white section of the bus, the same thing. It sanitizes the injustices that occurred under segregation. Now, as far as this comparison, yeah, I can totally see how being a white woman in 2021 in California with enough power to be elected to political office is completely comparable to being a black woman existing under segregation in Montgomery, Alabama. When you say it out loud, it doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't make any sense. This comparison is ridiculous. I am fairly certain that no matter how hard Jessica Alexander advocates her anti-mask policies, I'm pretty sure that nobody with hoods is going to show up in the middle of the night and drag her out of her home, never to be seen again. There's a real common thing going on lately where people simultaneously take some of the most horrid events in history and make them seem a little bit better, and then dramatize everything that is occurring now and making it seem like it is the ultimate victimization. Comparing being asked to wear a mask to living in Montgomery, Alabama at that time, that's not the same. It's not the same league. It's not the same sport. They're very different. That's not a comparison that should be made. But if you are going to talk about Rosa Parks, please get the story right. Because this is somebody who I truly believe is never given the proper credit that they deserve. I have a video that I will put down below that details some of the pieces that often get overlooked. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.